The journey has been perfect, but it has been powerful.
As we mark 65 years of independence, we remember the past, celebrate the present, and look forward to the future with hope. Together, we are stronger and united. Happy Independence, Nigeria! This message is brought to you by Global Television.
The issue of falsification of result, or should I call it forgery, is one thing that has eaten very deep into the society today. I don't know where to even get started from, because you look at the education sector, you look at the health sector, you look at the politicians, you look at people leaving school, you see people falsifying results everywhere. Forgery, we call it forgery. We've had so many times where you hear, well, teachers are doing screening, civil servants are doing screening, these people are doing screening. What necessitated those screenings? I think the issue of forgery and, of course, manipulation of papers. Yesterday we were talking about it, and we said one of the reasons why that is so much in the society today, like you were talking about it yesterday, is because these papers are being given too much attention, too much regard, too much relevance. There was a time that there was even disparity between HND and BSc, BTech, you know, disparity. These people say, okay, this one is higher than this one is higher than this one, you know.
Up to date.
Okay, up to date. There's
yes.
been an agitation for everything to be unified, so that the value will just be one. Then sometimes people will tell you, okay, people who go to university, they believe they have the theory. Some people tell you the polytechnic, they know the practical. Some will say, okay, BTech, no, that one is purely tech. Technology, you see somebody coming out of schools like that, obtaining their BTech, and you already see them working. They are able to do some technical works and all of that. Then you begin to put all of this together. I know a couple of people. I know someone who just graduated from technical college, and already he was drawing buildings before I even got to higher institution, and got to higher institution, did civil engineering, and is doing fine today. Unlike, so I don't know, the issue of forgery is one thing that you can't, can it really be erased completely, because it's across board right now?
Well, the thing is, even in the universities, do we even teach practicals? It's still basically theory. The difference between a graduate, an educated person, and an uneducated person should be seen in your ability to be creative, your creativity, your critical thinking abilities, your problem-solving skills. That is why you go to school, to enhance all of these your abilities. Now, when you go to school and all you know how to do, or what you went there to do, is to sort lecturers, to pass exams, even if you intentionally read, but you find out that people read, and at the end of the day, they even forget what they read. You have not gone to school. You have not passed through school, or school has not passed through you. Maybe you just passed through school, but school has not passed through. So you come out of the university or whatever system it is you went through, and then you are not able to solve problems. You're not able to think critically. Your creativity skills are on a very low level. That is where Nigerians miss it. We go to school for certificates, and it should never be so. Regardless of the fact that certificates are important. While you pass through the educational system, focus on your ability to solve problems in that field you're in. And the beautiful part of it is that you don't even have to know 100%. If you can take a 20% of the course you went to read and master just an aspect of it, you must not know everything. No, be a master of just even if it's a topic, be a master of it, own it. And then when you own a thing, you're able to move to the next. You're able to, conquer other grounds. We are focused on wanting to know everything, and it is not practical. That is why at the end of the day, you find yourself incompetent, and maybe going through that university or whatever polytechnic, you see that you're not performing well. Some people give up on the way because they are focused on, if I don't pass all of these exams, I may not get the certificate. They now go to the back door. Yes, they go to the back door to buy it. No.
To buy the certificate.
We have people doing well. We have Bill Gates. These people should inspire you. It is not out of it is.
But what about
the system? Inspire you.
The system. Though there are a lot of them that are doing very well today, that are even world leaders financially.
Bill Gates was a dropout. Mark Zuckerberg was.
No, we're not saying.
Yes, I'm not saying you should drop out. I'm only using this to inspire you that it is not about the certificates.
Okay, the Gen Z. If Gen Z is here, you now talk.
No, do not drop out.
Drop out.
If you look at Bill Gates did not drop out because he was lazy. He dropped out to do something he loved to do. He pursued it. So what are you even dropping out for? Are you dropping out because of laziness?
What's a dream?
He dropped out for a dream, to pursue a dream. And you see what he is doing now. The likes of Mark Zuckerberg, they had a passion going on for them. They had something thinking on their inside that they were pursuing. It was for a real cause. If you cannot do it, if you have something, the thing is, most of us, I was discussing with a friend yesterday, and she was like, my daughter did not score so much in JAMB. Her JAMB result was 210. What should I pick for her to study? I wanted her to study medicine, but her cutoff mark, her JAMB score might not get her medicine. Let me just look for a field around medicine. I'm like, why? What does your daughter like to do? Why do we go to school because of a kind of profession? Look at your abilities and choose a course that aligns with your abilities. It makes school easier. By the time you just go to school because my age is ticking, I need to get JAMB, you go to school and you will be stressed unnecessarily because you're not doing what you like to do. Well, it doesn't matter.
That's true. I think some of these people go to school because of status conferrer.
Exactly.
I have a doctor in the house. I have a barrister in the house and all of that. But I think it's beyond that. All right. Time is not on our side. We need to go to the papers and, of course, see what the headlines are saying. But don't forget that Natasha is now back to the National Assembly. But then, what does that mean for the people of Kogi Central Senatorial District? All of this would form our conversation on the program this morning. Forgery, of course, and of the return of Natasha. Let's go on a quick break. When we return, we'll look at the pages of the national dailies.
All right, welcome back. This is still Global Morning. If you're just tuning in, and right about now we go to the newspaper review segment, where we bring you the details of what is happening, of course, in our country. Let's start with the first paper here, which is the Vanguard, and just above the nameplate we have the first story. Mossop, others reject Tinubu's oil resumption in Ogoni. You'll find that detail on page 12 of that paper. The very story here that says Nigeria attracts $19.92 billion investment signals in Q2 25. I think that's 2025, and you find that on page 19 of the Vanguard paper. Tinubu promotes 52,000 paramilitary officers in 2 years, and that is coming from the Interior Minister. DMO offers 200 billion naira federal government to Nigeria bonds for subscription. Read up details on page 19. The big story here says why apathy dog voter registration in Southeast South. Why apathy dogs voter registration in Southeast South. Read up details on page 5 of the Vanguard paper. Next story, traders lament as Lagos government demolishes 19 buildings at Trade Fair Plaza. You find that on page 7. Excitement in Ibadan as Ladoja ascends throne today. Read up that on page 6. ADC to members, quit other parties now. There's still this dragging of feet in the APC. You see some people still in their former parties, and then they say they're in ADC, I beg your pardon. So let's see how all of this drama unfolds. Read up that detail on page 8. Blackout averted as electricity workers shelve strike after federal government intervention. That's good news, and you find that on page 9. 2026 WCO, more worries for Shell as Onyedika suffers injury. That you'll find on page 37 of the Vanguard. Read up all details to get yourself in tune with what the stories are talking about. Let's go to the next story, which is the Punch, and we'll have Ramsey take us through that.
Before we get to the Punch newspaper,
Okay.
the figure showing the registration, the INEC registration there, I just noticed that the online registration, the gap between the online registration and the physical registration is much.
Okay.
What does that speak to INEC and Nigerians, especially the government? Because a lot of people have advocated for even online voting. We don't even need to go queue in the sun, in the rain to vote, as it's been done in some advanced countries. The online registration, just for a few days, imagine the number of people that register Southeast, Southwest, North Central, Southeast, West. The disparities. So I think it's better we give that some consideration so that at least the voting can actually be done, probably online, and diaspora votings too. Now, let's move to the next paper that we have right here. Which paper are we going to?
That's the Punch
newspaper. Let's see what's punchy on the Punch this morning. 804 billion naira arms imports ignite calls for local production. The Southeast governors pushing for Nnamdi Kanu's release. That's coming from OT. Niger Delta military made Jonathan's presidency possible. Ateke Tom is the one saying that. We saw that the former president visited the ADC national chairman, was it yesterday? We'll keep our fingers crossed to see the outcome of that. So many things happening. I think all is geared towards 2027. A lot of speculations. Today, in one of the, I think online, I saw that there is a cry that they really want to know who is, you just took it, who is, if you're a member of ADC, it had to be clear.
Yes.
Now you can't even say where some people belong.
There's just this politics still going on.
Politics still going, even in the party, even ADC itself, there are still internal crises.
Yes.
Some persons are saying, hey, come on, these people just came into the party and they are leaders who've been there for a long time.
They should know that that's why they came into the party in the first place.
And they are feeling like the party has been hijacked.
Of course.
That's what some of them are thinking. All right. More headlines still coming from the Punch newspaper this morning. INEC gears up for off-cycle elections, promotes 471 officers. INEC gears up for off-cycle polls, promotes 471 officers. You have the picture of the INEC chairman right there. Now, Ladoja ascends Olubadan throne. The long-awaited time is right here. Some writers to that story. And the first writer says, inside Ladoja's 32-year journey to throne, Makinde Courts shouts annual leave for coronation. Tinubu top dignitaries to attend historic ceremony. Once governor, now monarch. Ladoja's royal story. Why Ladoja's emergence was rancor-free, Balogun designates. Olubadan's unique succession system. All right, that is for Ladoja's ascending the throne of Olubadan. And now the big story says 2027 presidency coalition demands Atiku Obi's full membership. We want to know where you belong. Are you part of ADC or you are still in the People's Democratic Party? Even though Atiku already resigned his membership of the People's Democratic Party.
So why are they asking for the full membership?
Yeah, they want to know. They want to know. It's one thing to say you are not in this party again, and it's another thing for you to say this is the party I am now in, full-fledged. But then looking at the handwriting on the wall, it should be known that Atiku is now more in ADC, and of course, El-Rufai, Aregbesola, David Mark. But for Peter Obi, well, politicking is still going on. Peter Obi is still in Labour Party, and some of them want to be careful.
Still with the SDP.
El-Rufai, that's what they are saying. Now you don't even know who is fully in ADC.
So there's this mistrust.
Maybe only the Big Mac now that you can really point to and say, because he's the national chairman.
Yeah.
Well,
Aregbesola,
it's all politics. Chairman, it's all politics. Let's keep our fingers crossed and see if ADC or PDP will be able to give the All Progressive Congress a run for their money. Remember the stakeholders meeting that was held yesterday, APC stakeholders meeting from Kano State that was held yesterday. Well, the outcome is in our news. Just follow up with our bulletins and you get details. APC seems not to be relaxing as far as 2027 is concerned. All right. More from the Punch newspaper this morning. We also have this headline which says, Oven fire forces Delta Lagos Atlanta flight diversion. 6 hospitalized as Lagos seals collapsed 2-story building. Marketers fault Dangote's 500,000 litre fuel delivery threshold. Marketers fault Dangote's, all right, that it's not going to be possible, or what the problem is. All right, pick a copy of the Punch newspaper and go through any of the stories that interest you. Now let's move to the next paper, which is the Daily Trust.
Okay, thank you. Over to the Daily Trust with the story just below the nameplate, still talking about Olubadan, Tinubu, Atiku, others for Ladoja's coronation today. This is definitely a big one. The next story is Jonathan. Says Jonathan meets ADC chair David Mark. Another mystery about to unfold again. So what is happening?
I told you that happened yesterday.
Wow.
At David Mark's residence in Abuja here.
Interesting.
It's all, I think all is politics. You know, there was a speculation that PDP is wooing the former president to come up as a presidential candidate.
That is
now,
Jonathan.
Yeah, that's Jonathan.
Yeah.
Now, he's having a meeting with the national chairman of ADC.
Well,
what are you thinking?
Well, it's a good thing if they all meet and decide to say, okay, let us bring one person. I think it's the point where they need to all have a consensus, because we should.
I'm just thinking of what will happen if ADC, PDP, and others collapse into one and
to bring one person.
To bring one person.
I mean, is it impossible?
Give the president support.
Is it impossible?
No. Where the problem is that the people hungry for the presidential position
will not.
are not the one. You understand?
Well, the progress of our nation should be priority.
Okay.
Regardless of interest, we all have our personal.
You think some people think about that?
I know.
Some people don't even
at the end
consider
of the day,
that.
at the end of the day, everyone will be happy if Nigeria becomes great, regardless of who makes it great.
That's true.
So that should be, well.
That was what when we first got independence, that was the pursuit. You know, and you see the achievement.
Thank you.
I think we need to go back to the drawing board, but I doubt if greed can be completely wiped out of some politicians and have that ideology of Nigerian first, like it's been said in the United States.
For me, the way forward is to have an accountability structure. If we have a leader that we build a system of accountability, that whoever comes into that seat, you will be held accountable. I mean, you cannot go scot-free. You will behave yourself.
But the truth is, when a leader is all and all, and have every other person or maybe other agencies or other parastatals under their beck and call, what do you think?
Look at the United States. The United States of America would go to court and make a judgment that Trump does not agree with. Is that not a state that works? We don't have our
But
legal...
the truth is this. I was with some sons yesterday, and one of the sons raised a concern, senior advocates of Nigeria. One of them raised a concern about some persons that are compromising in the system, in the judicial system. It is not news anymore that some Nigerians don't even think that the judiciary is the last hope of the common man anymore. The Sultan once said that people now buy justice with money. You know, so all of these things happening.
That is the problem.
People are losing confidence in the
problem.
system. That's where the problem is.
So if we can fix our judiciary,
well, it can.
If we can fix it, I don't think
that is if we can have true separation of power, as it is being stipulated in the Constitution. And that's why some people are even calling for constitutional review, you know, electoral reforms and all of these things. But then, the possibility, Nigeria is a great nation. We can achieve it.
Of course we can. Let's go to the next story, which is 3 children found dead in father's car. Bruno, what could have caused that? That's a tragic one. You want to read up details on page 6 of that paper. The big story here says Kwankwaso talks with Nentawe. Kwankwaso in talks with Nentawe. You want to find out ahead of defection. That has a caption, ahead of defection. Who is defecting? Is Kwankwaso about to defect?
Kwankwaso, I don't know. But then the Kwankwasians, well, that stakeholders meeting that was held yesterday by APC stakeholders in Kano State. And now this morning we are seeing in the paper that Kwankwaso, okay, who is more like the pivotal chairman of NNPP, which is the opposition party against the APC in Kano State, for instance. You know the antecedents of NPP in Kano State. After that stakeholders meeting yesterday, then this morning we are seeing in the papers that defection
is rooming around.
And now Kwankwaso is going to visit the APC chairman. Then something is brewing. Well, let's keep our fingers crossed. This is Nigeria, and of course 2027 is the subject matter for a lot of politicians right now.
Definitely. Let's go to the next story. A man allegedly kills grandparents in Kano State. That is another tragic one. What could have caused this? Read up details on page 5 of the Daily Trust. The next story, insecurity. Katsina to procure 5,000 cartons of ammunition. Who is procuring this? Well,
You want to find out on page 6. Japan scraps Africa Hometown Initiative, and that is on page 14 of that story. Security operatives rescue 9-month-old others in Kwara. This paper has just comes with a lot of tragic stories. Read up details on page 14 of the Daily Trust. We'll go to the next paper, which is The Nation, and we'll have Ramsey take us through that.
All right, let's quickly look at The Nation's newspaper this morning. Above the nameplate, Ibadan stands still for Ladoja's coronation as 44th monarch. We just saw that article, and of course the president lined up for that coronation ceremony today in Ibadan. Edo secures $250 million investment at Glasgow Summit. Amcon sells 34% stake in Unity Bank to Providus Bank. The big story now, but before the big story, contractors yet to buy into concrete road policy. All right, NPRC okays Total Energies deal. Now the big story has this one, which says experts, economists, worst times of reform paints over. Some writers to that story, manufacturing has stabilized. That's coming from manufacturers. Gains begin to reach average Nigerians. Are you serious? All right. Gain begins to reach average Nigerians.
Well, we're hopeful.
Hopeful? They say it has started reaching average Nigerians.
Have you received gains?
Maybe I've not been considered as an average Nigerian because, of course, it has not reached me yet.
Okay, absolutely.
Am I?
Well, if you have not been considered as average Nigerian, I wonder who the average Nigerian is, really.
All right. They said the gain has trickled down to the average Nigerians. Maybe some economists will have one or two explanations about that.
Yeah.
All right. Moving away from there, Defense Headquarters, 147 terrorists arrested, dozens killed. The kicker says, the writer says 41 kidnapped victims rescued. And of course, finally, from the Nation's newspaper this morning, which is going to be the last, Barau Ganduje orders step up plan to displace NNPP in Kano. I told us after the meeting yesterday, Kwankwaso is meeting with Nantewa. Of course, something is happening there, because before you can actually take over a house, you start from the man of the house. Maybe there is some form of wooing. I'm just saying, I don't know. This is politics. Maybe there is some form of wooing. You can see the statement here. APC trying to take over from NNPP as far as Kano is concerned. Kano, if you want to mention politics in Kano, it is NNPP. But then let's see what happens. And of course, I think that's the last. But then 3 children found dead in father's car boot. Tinted glass, IG warns against extortion. Tinted glass, IG warns against extortion. Well, time is not on our side. We can't really talk on this issue. Children found killed in the boot of their father. What does that mean? Then, of course, the tinted glasses issue that has been on, IG is now warning against extortion. You know, some of these guys can actually take advantage of situations.
We should know the official fine for every crime in this country.
It should even be printed in black and white for everyone to know.
Some of these officials take advantage of it, like you said. Somebody was saying the fine for not having spare tire, I think he was saying 5K. 5,000 of not having a spare tire available, and it was quite new to someone raised that on the internet, and don't allow any official to boo you in his words. So we should know the fine. Let us know, because
but then I think it should be made. I think road safety, the police, the VIO and every other person involved in this should let the people know
Exactly.
what the fine is. There was a time that it's been written out anyway. It's been written out. I think it's on black and white. Everyone can know it. So
No,
that
when you go to renew your papers, you should have a list.
they should give you the list.
Yes, you should have
and
the law.
see,
You somehow
even
written to
when you are getting your driver's license and
Exactly.
working on your papers,
Yes,
these
those
things
things should
need to be there.
Exactly.
The booklet that you will be given should have all
you
of
should
this
have a
in.
piece of information that states all of these things.
All right.
Because there was a particular time they came out to say that you should no longer be fined for faded, what's it called? Number, your
Okay,
car plate
yes,
number.
yes.
You should no longer be fined for car plate number. But some officials still stop people till date to
To
fine
date.
them for plate numbers.
But it's criminal, because if the number is faded, it's not showing anymore.
But who prints
and
the numbers?
Extorting.
Who
No,
prints
I
it?
think
Why shouldn't I? Why can I not take my? I
they
should be
say,
able to
they say
take.
nothing is forever.
I should be able
except
to take my plate number to the further road safety and tell them, please repaint it, because you gave it
or
to me.
replace rather. They should even
No, you can't repaint it. It's
it won't look good.
No, it's just a matter of spraying it, for heaven's sake. It's a matter of spraying it.
Okay,
It's not
so that
colours.
the colours
Because
can come out
because these
and,
numbers, it's not like the number. Sometimes the plate number is not damaged.
It's not bad,
squeezed.
but then
It's just that the number-
inscription
yes,
will know
it fades
help
fast.
you know the figure.
Exactly.
So you
it fades.
can read from
Yes.
afar.
So they should be
All
able
right.
to have, a recycling system of these things. Don't tell me to come and pay a fresh
Okay,
one
so
to get a plate number.
after let's say after 5 years or after 3 years, you come for
A
but
recycle.
individuals can actually do that. It's their property at this point. All right, time will not allow us to go into all of that. The headlines from the various newspaper are properties of the various editors of these newspaper houses. Global Television does not contribute to any of these editorial headlines. Let's go on a quick break. After this break, we'll return with Social Buzz with Ogochukwu Mobuna. Stay with us.
Nigeria at 65, a nation rich in culture, heritage, and resilience. From the banks of the River Niger to the hills of Jos, from the bustling streets of Lagos to the peaceful plains of Sokoto, Nigeria stands tall, united by hope, straightened by diversity. 65 years, the green and white flag rises high, a symbol of freedom, a promise of self-determination, a call to greatness.
Through trials and triumphs, challenges and changes, Nigeria remains unbroken. Her people, bold, brilliant, and brave, continue to rise, innovating, creating, and shaping the future. The journey has been perfect, but it has been powerful.
As we mark 65 years of independence, we remember the past, celebrate the present, and look forward to the future with hope. Together, we are stronger and united. Happy Independence, Nigeria! This message is brought to you by Global Television.
Morning is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and international.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Monday through Sunday to a wide range of latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
We're on the road to protest.
And the president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning.
Good morning, the Global Morning crew, and good morning to you, my viewers. I am August Kumobnor. It's a beautiful day to look at what's buzzing on the internet. Today, it's a sad one. Children rescued from orphanage in Abuja over maltreatment. Some children have been rescued from orphanage in Abuja. Activists raised concern about ill treatment. The Public Complaints Commission, together with the Federal Capital Territories Police Command, have rescued 16 children that were being abused at an orphanage in Dogongada local Goma FCT. A joint operation by the Public Complaints Commission (PCC) and the FCT Police Command has led to the rescue of 16 children that were subjected to abuse in an illegal orphanage located in the Dogongada area of local Goma, Abuja. Officials raided the premises after reports indicated that the children were being subjected to severe hardship, emotional trauma, and neglect. The facility was found to be operating without meeting minimum standards of child care and protection. The rescued children have been evacuated to safety while investigations are ongoing to bring the operators of the orphanage to justice. I'd like us to take a look at a very short clip.
What is your name? Video me. What is your name? Ebuka who? I can't hear you. Chiwendu.
Chukwuebuka.
Chukwuebuka, you don't have a surname.
You answer all this. You answer surname.
What's the surname? Call the surname.
Chikwelu.
Chikwelu.
Yes.
Chikelu or Chikwelu?
Chikwelu.
Mention the name Chukwuebuka Chikelu. Call your full names.
Chukwuebuka Chikwelu.
And how old are you?
15.
Are you an orphan? Are you an orphan?
No.
Who is your mom?
No.
The mother of this orphanage is your mother, your biological mother.
Yes.
And you are the only one she gave birth to.
Yes.
You are the only one. What about your father?
She's a widow.
Okay, she's a widow. Your mom is a widow. That means you don't have a father. No problem. Thank you very much. Just know that the Public Complaints Commission came here because of complaints we have been hearing from the villagers in Dogongada. This is Dogongada village in FCT. We'll be heading, Abuja, yes, FCT is Abuja. FCT Abuja, Dogongada village, we'll be hearing different of concerns. We'll be hearing concerns that this orphanage are maltreating their children, and we have come today, we have seen a first-hand officers, please. We have seen a first-hand investigation that these children are seriously maltreated. This one here was poured hot water. You can see all his body totally wasted. This one, look at this one, beating, water, injury, malnourished. This one has a broken leg. This is terrible. what they are saying is nothing to write home about, but there's a store filled with so many food and clothes. But see what these children are wearing. See how they are looking. There's a store filled with clothes and more than 20 bags of rice. Where the woman, I'm very sure, must have gotten from good-spirited Nigerians. Coming to say, okay, they are trying to take care of the orphanage. Now, look at how these children, look at how they are all looking. Look at how they are, this one, how will you believe that this one is 12 years old? How can a child like this be 12 years old? You, how old are you? 13. What about you? 12. You, uncle? 10. What about you? 6. Look at them. 6 years old. Looks like a 3 years old. No, 3 years old. Because they are not feeding them. This is 11. And they are not eating. And the most terrible, even the prisoners, I'm not even sure prisoners eat that food. Prisoners that are even of did an offense and they are in prison, I'm not even sure they are eating the kind of food they are going to give to these children. I'm here for this. Let's go.
That's not a good sight at all, I must tell you. It's not a good one. It's not a good one, I must say. My heart is really heavy at this point because I don't even know how to say this whole thing. These are minors, children for that matter. If you know you can't do it, why take up this responsibility? It is a huge responsibility to take care of children, people's children. Even yours is a big work. Then taking care of more than one child is a big responsibility. So if you can't do it, why don't you just say, I cannot do it? Then don't even start up that kind of business. It's better you go and roast corn by this side of the road than do things like this and bring people's children under this kind of hardship. Anyways, we're going to be taking comments from social media as regards this topic. And the first comment today is coming from Dr. Morula. And Dr. Morula says, I'm concerned about why you have to video the woman's 15-year-old son during this accusation. He is a minor and I highly doubt he perpetrated this malicious act on these kids alongside his mom. Please, let's be civilized enough to not allow innocent adolescents pay for crimes their parents committed. Next time, ensure who appears on the video is the perpetrator, because people don't have the patience to listen to lengthy videos these days. They jump into conclusion quickly. Very true. I must say thank you so much, Doctor, for bringing this up, because immediately I saw the video, I was first of all shocked. I asked myself, why are they interviewing a young boy and the child? What happened to the mom? But you know, it was later gathered that the mom actually fled the scene, and of course investigations are ongoing, so definitely she will be caught in no time. So the next comment is coming from Blessing Onukwe, and Blessing says, why won't this happen when adoption in Nigeria is so difficult? If not, these kids would have been given a home. Adoption in Nigeria, I really do not know the process of adoption in Nigeria, but it shouldn't be so difficult that you can't be able to adopt a child. Definitely, if you go through the right process, you will be able to adopt a child. The third comment is coming from OT Umo123, and OT says, we are the problem of this country because this is not the government's doing. A mother did this. God help us all. God really help us all indeed. Well, I'm not alone today in the studio as usual. I have with me Priscilla Opasi. Good morning, Priscilla.
Good morning, Ogochukwu.
You sound tired. Is it because of what you saw?
Yeah, it's such a heartbreaking story, indeed. And I really want to commend whoever brought this up to the internet. This awareness is worthy of putting out here, because I don't think we have enough restriction. We don't have enough regulation of orphanage homes in this country. So I used to say that it's a collective work to make Nigeria work. If it is in your place, or if you find the opportunity to bring to your awareness anything that you need to talk about, then why not? It is our country and we have to do it together. And that said, this is, you know, a pointer, like I have just established, that we don't have enough regulation for orphanage homes. Why would you? It looks as if people do this. It's some kind of baby
kind of
factory.
Business.
You know, it's a factory right now where you keep children. And someone mentioned in her comments that adoption is difficult, and I really will agree with her. And it is not because of the fact that there are no adoption, you know, facilities to go to, but we don't have enough of it, and it becomes difficult. So maybe we'll have more individuals in this, into this kind of, what do I call it now? If they have this as a specialty, we need more of them. They need to be regulated, they need to be checked. You understand? We need to have more, because there are people that are looking for children. And you go to the internet, you see people crying for kids, and you have kids like this suffering. I mean, why? Why? And then it's also to say that government needs to regulate NGOs. A lot of NGOs come up now just for the sake of gathering people in the name of orphanage home, in the name of foundation. You see foundations rising up here and there, all in the aim of getting money from donors and all of that. So we need to regulate NGOs, make sure that they are doing the work. We need more regulation in this space. That's what I would just say.
In this kind of setting, the question I really want to put out is, are these orphanages, are they registered? Because I want to believe that before you set up an orphanage to take care of children, it should be registered. There should be also a lawyer that signs every certificate, every document that will be that you have to get. So who actually is in charge of this? Because if they are not registered, then this particular orphanage should actually be closed. I have seen different orphanages closed down, shut down, because they didn't meet up the process. They did not meet up the process of registration. So they should be registered, and if they are registered, then there should be a follow-up, like supervise these orphanages.
Yeah.
If you register an orphanage, then get a team to make sure that you follow up supervise these people and know what exactly is going on there. Just like you rightly mentioned earlier, that these people set up things like this all in the name of NGO, and you just will fill their own pocket. It's all like a personal kind of benefits thing. It's all about their stomach and their pocket, and even that of their children. They don't really care so much about these children. They kind of gather, and there are also NGOs that really care so much. So it's actually giving a bad name to these NGOs, because when you see things like this, you really do not want to help anymore. You are telling yourself, if I should donate to this particular NGO, who knows if it's going into the pocket of the owner of this NGO? Because we have a lot of private-owned NGOs. These are things that the government is actually going to look out for. I understand that it's not everything about government, but if there should be an orphanage, it should be registered and also be supervised. If there is supervision, I bet you these children will not be feeding like this. They are all looking malnourished. See that girl who is 11 years old, looking like a 6-year-old girl, and the other one with a broken leg, the other one with sore all over her body. I really, really feel for these children. The government should come to the rescue. I'm so happy that PCC actually came to the rescue, and together with the police, and also the activists who actually brought it up to their notice. They all did a good job. If you see something like this, please speak. These are minors. These are children. We don't want children like this suffering. We've had cases of children being sold out and things like this. We've had cases of baby factory, trafficking, baby factory, where you gather young teenagers and make sure that they get pregnant. You sell their baby at the end of the day. Some people also accuse some people who beg on the road. You see them with children. These children are gotten from orphanages like this. You go there and say, okay, give me for today for 20,000 naira, and because you know what you are going to gather is more than 20,000 naira. You see a woman with 3 plates, with quadruplets, with twin, and you're asking yourself, where is your husband? How did you give birth to? Don't you have? And some of these people, you even assist them, you help them, but they still come back to the street because that is their business. And these are things like, these are the kind of people who actually give out children like this. So please, the government should actually come to the rescue of these people. I'm so proud, I'm so happy that they've been rescued, 16 of them, and I'm sure that from now on they will be giving good treatment. And also, whoever is in need of children, go through the right process. I really do not want to believe that it's very difficult to get, to adopt a child. Go through the right process, and definitely you'll be getting one. Thank you so much, Priscilla, for joining us today on Social Buzz on Global Morning. I really appreciate your contribution to the topic. So that's all we have for you today on Social Buzz on Global Morning. I am Ogos Kumobno, and Global Morning continues. Stay right there.
is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and internationals.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Monday through Sunday to a wide range of latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
We're on the road to protest.
The president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning. Nigeria at 65, a nation rich in culture, heritage, and resilience. From the banks of the River Niger to the hills of Jos, from the bustling streets of Lagos to the peaceful plains of Sokoto, Nigeria stands tall, united by hope, straightened by diversity. 65 years, the green and white flag rises high, a symbol of freedom, a promise of self-determination, a call to greatness.
Through trials and triumphs, challenges and changes, Nigeria remains unbroken. Her people, bold, brilliant, and brave, continue to rise, innovating, creating, and shaping the future. The journey has been perfect, but it has been powerful.
As we mark 65 years of independence, we remember the past, celebrate the present, and look forward to the future with hope. Together, we are stronger and united. Happy Independence, Nigeria! This message is brought to you by Global Television.
I think it's something important to actually look at some of the things that contribute to, number one, corruption and societal decadence. What value do people give to the education sector? Why do people go to school? How important is the certificate that we get from our schools? I think the essence of certificate is to certify someone that this person have actually gone through a particular course or maybe done a training, as it may. But then the issue of falsification, forgery, is everywhere. Where can you point to these days that you won't have one or two persons that have forged a particular certificate? As it is right now, because of the level of relevance given to the certificate, a lot of people feel, well, I need to have this certificate to get employment or maybe to get a favor for whatever reason. But then the federal government of Nigeria is in a bid to go after certificate forgers. Is your certificate forged? Especially that of the higher institution. Just recently, we heard how a university came out to say, well, a particular entertainer who is claiming to bag a particular qualification from their university had never attended their university. But how did he get this certificate? This morning, we'll be looking at the federal government, of course, going after certificate forgers. And I have my guest in the studio here. who is a legal practitioner and, of course, a public affairs analyst in the person of Dr. Oke Ezeogo. It's good to have you this morning on the program.
Good morning.
Well, for a very long time, a lot of people have frowned at the issue of certificate forgery, but on the National Daily, we heard it that the federal government is ready to go after certificate forgers. What's your perspective? What do you think about this move?
Well, it sounds palatable and good enough that the federal government is getting sensitive about the issue of certificate forgery and all of that. But you see, if you're talking of forgery, you're talking of fake certificate, because of course we have to categorize now. There are fake certificates. And when you're talking of fake certificates, we're talking about those who went and then just put together any document and make them look like is a certificate, so to say. You have those that were actually issued by institutions, but they never passed through due processes. You know, there are so many universities and high institutions that, for whatever reason, you just see them coming out, people coming out with certificates. But if you go back to the drawing board to begin to check the processes leading to the issuing of the certificate, you discover that there are lacunas all over the place. It's either that candidate never even attended classes, or even after attending classes, failed some of the courses, but somewhere along the line, at the end of the whole thing, a certificate is issuing, ignoring all the shortfalls in between. You know, but like I said, it's okay if the government will have the political weight to deal with it, the issue of forgery of certificates, because it transcends every space in our lives now. People forge anything, and then of course aided by the instruments of later-day ICT-driven programs and the rest of them. So they can produce anything. Sometimes when they produce a certificate, for instance, it will be better than the original. And then because of certain features, okay, some institutions take time to put in some features, security features, that you can use to discern the original from the real and the imagined. But that's when one desires to really do the proper thing. Like I said, this is not the first time government has tried the idea of going after those who forge certificates. We've had it over and over. In the ministries, it has become a ritual. In public service, it has become a ritual, where monies are retired, excess monies are retired in the process of going to look for, trying to scrutinize certificates and verify them and all of that. So I'm going to record decimal. I can count how many institutions of states that in the last 1 or 2 years have done it more than 10 times.
And we'll still keep having
having more.
So why?
And even when after doing that, what has come out of it? That's the situation. That's the problem. There are so many people in public service masquerading as directors, admin officers, permanent secretaries, and name them, all categories, who are masquerading as this, that, but their certificates are just there. But because of our usual way of doing things, if you have good contacts, you are protected. And then, so nobody goes after them because they have good contacts.
But now that the federal government wants to rise to the occasion, do you think the situation is still going to be the same for people? Because this screening is being done. We talked about it this morning, teacher screening today, civil servant screening today. Tomorrow you hear even pensioners being screened, people that have been in service and gone for authentication of documents. Now that the federal government is rising to the occasion, and some people are even saying this screening there are some people that have gotten to a particular cadre that may not face this screening anymore. But as it is right now, do you think the federal government will be able to sanitize the system totally with this action?
Well, the exception you are trying to come up with has already opened a window for escapes, for people to escape. I mean, if you become a minister of the Federal Republic and you're having a fake certificate or a forged certificate, does that purify you? I don't know what I understand. Does your status and your ministerial position purify you as a clean person just because you are now holding public office? That exception is a window which they always provide. And it's political, I can tell you. At the end of the day, you still say, oh, you heard it before. Because at the end of the day, nothing will come out of it. Basically nothing. We've had it over and over and over. You'll be surprised that there are professors in this country who have fake certificates all over the place. Professors who are even in the universities. But they have forged certificates and all of that. You know, so what I'm trying to say is the foundation of our educational institutions, they have become so shaky and sandy that it will only take, I wonder the kind of political leader that will be able to face those who are really in position of this, because they are in the major, they appear, the way they are going, it appears they have a sizable number really. And most of them are occupying highly placed positions in government and the private sectors and the rest of them. So they will definitely fight back. So it requires more than an announcement, that's what I'm trying to say, to be able to get those who are really into this. There has to be political will, such that if a minister, for instance, is found guilty, is removed from the cabinet.
But do you think certification is overrated in Nigeria?
Yeah, it's overrated. Of course, it's overrated because I can tell you for free that it doesn't look. I mean, I'm not too sure that because I mean, having worked in government before, I had cause to I mean, mentor a good many young graduates and the rest of them. And you discover that each time you probably will wonder whether some of them actually went through the institutions they claim to have gone through. I'm not talking of those who are employed under me now. I'm talking of even corpers who have worked with some of us. And it's a sad situation, really. You know. But the fact that they are not justifying the certificate in our own situation where we are talking of certification at all times would not mean that they did not pass through the universities. I don't know what I understand. So the ingredients of checking and balancing who actually has a fake certificate or a forged certificate will not be in the output. It will not be. It will be in the process. You look at the process, not the output. After all, there are so many secondary school leavers who are very proficient in English, who speak so well and write so well. I don't know what I understand. In those days, we had those who went for Standard 6, who passed out from primary school Standard 6, and they were very, very good. I mean, in terms of intellectually and otherwise. Are you getting me? So what the person does in coming out will not be used as a gauge. If we are now talking about certificate forgery and fake certificate and all that, it is the process leading to the issuing of the certificate that is more important.
Then that will take us to the education sector, of course.
Yeah.
Our education sector in Nigeria.
Yeah.
A lot of people have complained about. You just mentioned that of professors now, that some professors might even be flying with forged certificates and all of that. How did they get up the ladder to get to the position of professorship? And what's your assessment of the educational system? Is it the fault of the educational system?
The institution of states that are responsible for, I mean, for gauging and then scrutinizing and then validating whatever they are doing is weak. It's very weak. Do you know, I'm not saying for certain, but I know that as soon as a vice chancellor of a university comes on board, the moment he's nominated, he has become a political issue. When they're contesting for vice chancellorship, you see a situation where this camp belongs to this person, this camp belongs to this person, and all that. So as soon as the election is won and lost, the person who won the election definitely will have to start compensating those who fought for him. And part of the compensation, most cases, end up in elevating some of the lecturers from where they were to the, and the appointment of professors has taken that line. After all, it's on recommendation. If they recommend you, accepted, there could be a criteria, but I want to believe that sometimes because of the way we do our thing, it's possible for some of these criteria and guidelines to be waived. I mean, the Vice Chancellor has the final word.
The Vice Chancellor has the final word. Now, the issue of forgery is not just what we're talking about the academics, but then the young ones who are also taking after, all right, the people who have gone ahead. Because somebody can tell you, man, in this family, this person, okay, has a forged certificate and all of that. Nothing is happening. The person is excelling. And the issue of using one certificate for more than one person, claiming to be the owner of that certificate. Now, what about political office holders? Because if you look at what was on the papers, the screening and verification is for people, ministries, agencies, parastatals, civil servants, public servants, and all of that. Why? What do you think about people in politics? They don't need certificates? Or
no, it's not about needing certificates. We have a faulty provision when it has to do with the when it has to do with electoral matters. There is a basic qualification,
okay,
for a politician to contest for any of these positions. He has the basic. Nobody will really bother himself with any other certificates on top of it, except in a situation where there is proven case of forgery, and if it is sustained legally in court, why not? That could be the only option. But beyond that, if you say this man is a governor, and then he has the basic qualification of a school cert, which of course could be the provision in the constitution and all of that. Now, if he does that and he's within the age bracket, and then after that he now has masters and PhD and all that, and let me shock you. The whole thing has become so muddled up that people who just go to a university and then give them money for an honorary degree come out with Doctor of Philosophy, honorary whatever. I don't know what I understand.
Yeah, I do.
And they append it as Doctor this, that. No. If you must append it, you must indicate that it's an honorary degree. So right now, every politician is having a doctorate degree without thesis, and you say you have a doctorate degree. Are you getting me? So the whole thing has been so muddled up that we can hardly differentiate between those who went through the process and then became, had a PhD as it were, and then those who had honorary degrees, and then who now don't even differentiate it. In civilized climes, you don't even use it at all. And if you must use it at all, you must indicate in bracket that is an honorary degree.
But they don't do it.
But here they don't do it.
You just see doctor.
Some of them even go to some religious institutions and they will award them, some of them. Then some of them, they say institute of this, institute of that, institute of this. How can an institute that has no, basically apart from the office which they maintain and run, they don't have, it's not an institute per se, because people really don't come in there and they don't have steady workers who mentor and tutor these people, who come before they are now giving any of the certificates and all that. And you still see some of them, instead of going professionally and proficiently by, you know, giving certificates like associate this, member this, that, they have even gone to the extent of awarding doctorate degrees.
This is a
And
problem.
the recipients are using it all over the place, as if they are academic doctors, when they are not.
So can we attribute that also to forgery?
Weak institutions of state, and the politicization of the whole process. Because it's not as if with the Minister of Education tell me that he's not aware of what I'm talking about. But probably if they do, they will offend some political sacred cows in politics. And they wouldn't want to do that because they will ruffle feathers. And that's where the problem is. So if the government is coming out clean and clear to say we want to do this, it should cut across board, and there should be no sacred cow. And the institution of state should go after them. As soon as that happens and anybody is discovered, prosecute the person. Withdraw the something. Do you know that even in some universities they run a racket? They run a racket where you don't even need to, all you need to do is just buy your form, fill a form, get admitted into the school. You can go into thin air, pay your fees, and then you collect your certificate.
At the end of
the
number of years stipulated.
Yes. Because some foreign institutions, you have some polytechnics, you have some all manner of institutions.
But then,
who monitors them? The institution of state is terribly weak. Because let me tell you, I said it here one time when I was here. Those who are prepared to do the job and make sure that proper things are done are not rewarded in government. Those who cut corners and who are ready to do the bidding of whoever, they're the ones who get rewarded. And let me shock you again. Have you asked a question about the accreditation system of courses in universities?
Yes, I was actually coming to that because you already talked about the issue that there are compromises, you know, and the issue of checking. That brings in NUC now, but then the National University Commission and every other accreditation bodies, how, if we are having this free worker, because we've heard of some people who will come and they tell you, well, this is an institution affiliated to this university, affiliated to the other university, and in just months or maybe in 1 year, you see someone have multiple degrees with certificates. You know, now the issue of accreditation, how are these schools accredited? How do they get this accreditation? How do they get the approval? Who gives the approval? Who go to check? What is being done by these institutions to get these accreditations? And at the end of the day, these certificates, the people coming out with these certificates, instead of being a plus to the society, are becoming more like nuisance and problem to the society.
Let me tell you, see, go to a university, maybe pick up a department that, a normal department that is just existing, or a faculty that is existing, and then see whether you can shadow them. They now say, okay, that there will be accreditation of courses. It becomes a rat race. Everybody from the highest to the lowest person in the university, in the faculty, in the department will be running helter-skelter to ensure accreditation. And how do they do it? By putting a non-existing, things that were not there before, to be in place for the accreditation team to see those things. It's a make-believe. I don't know what I understand. Whereby they will now go and then source for lecturers, you know, to build up the requirements, source for even materials in the office, you know, office tables, office this, office that, get them ready, you know, do a lot of upgrades. And sometimes you see a particular lecturer who is in a university, in one university, his name is in 4, 5, 6 universities, you know, where he makes up for the shortfall in during accreditation. You understand? Now, but the sad story is that as soon as the accreditation thing is over, the whole thing relapses again. And then wherever they got those they got and materials they got, they will have to go back there. And the status quo remains. So, what I'm trying to say is the institution of state is very weak, like I said. And those who ought to be the drivers, sometimes you discover that some of them could be beneficiaries. It's a possibility, you understand? It's just like if you do an investment and then all of a sudden they ask you to dismantle your investment. You know, it's not always an easy ride. And in a weak society in terms of institutional operations like our own, it becomes a very difficult thing for even the government that is mooting the idea to do much, because before you know it, contacts will be, you know, people will start contacting those they know, you know. There were cases in the past where some people were found wanted. Their certificates were not there. The schools they claimed they attended, they never did, and all that. But at the end of the day, they stayed back. Nothing happened to them. Somebody will just make a call, a few phone calls, and say, leave that man alone there. And that is the end of the matter. So I will be happy if this government can carry out this to the letter. If they can do that, that's a plus for them, because you see, everything about us is beginning to look so murky. People are no longer so clear about anything about us. So if government can do that, so that our certificates can be respected, fine and good. But if it is business as usual, politics as usual, whereby certain persons are absorbed and nothing happens to them and all that, even after finding, too bad. And I can tell you, they forge this thing all over the place. Go, business centers, there's no certificate. You go there, show them, they will not be able to do it for you. In these days of AI and all of that, they will do it and give it to you. But there should be a repository of, the data of those who attended certain schools and the rest of them, which should be kept by every institution. If they can set up a machinery whereby these certificates are referred back to the universities or higher institutions, as it were, for them to now cross-check and say, look, yes, this person attended, this person did not attend, and all that, and release their report, unedited, and then government decide to work on that. Why not? But I can tell you that it's just one of those.
But some analysts have argued that because there is an unemployment situation in the country, if verifications and these screenings is being done, or fishing out people that have forged certificate, because it's going to be across board, like you said, there is no both in public service, civil service, in the military, and even in politics, we've had people who may be victim, of this forgery. And some analysts are of the opinion that this is going to result to unemployment when we already have a lot of people on ground unemployed. What's your perspective?
Now, we are talking of weak institutions because those who manage these institutions don't even know what it takes to manage institutions. You can't give what you don't have. You can't give what you do not have. These people, some of the people we are talking about never went to school. Well, had good contacts that gave them certificates and all that, and protected them and the certificates. So what do you really expect from such fellows? It's not about sentiment. Sentiment about unemployment will be a blackmail on government. Are you getting me? If you come and start talking to government, if you do this, it will result in unemployment, it's a blackmail. Because it ought not to be. You can't give what you don't have. You simply didn't go to school, and then you want to load it on those who went to school. And most cases, this category of persons we are talking about are occupying #1 positions in so many areas. And when they do that, their ignorance and their lack of knowledge, transcends down to because if ignorance and whatever start flowing from the top, it must get to the bottom. Because even
that is disaster.
Oh yes, even you who is in between, who probably knows so much and who want to say so much and do so much, you'll be frustrated. You can't do much. There's nothing you can do. Yeah. And then when you are talking of the other aspect of it is that our emphasis is always on certificates. Now let us be looking at a situation where instead of certificates, we are talking of skill. Are you getting me? So the institutions, our various institutions like universities and the rest of them, you should begin to emphasize skills, and they emphasize the idea of having this certificate and all that. If in other climes like in first world countries and all that, you still see a situation where somebody could be an illiterate. I can tell you somewhere in California, there is this community that what they know so much to do, have to do is aluminum smelting, and this aluminum, this has gone in Ikota Bashi. That's where they drew many of their expatriates those days, because I happened to be in government then. And many of them were illiterates in the research of it, but they knew how to smelt iron. I mean aluminum. So that's the skill. So at every point we should be talking about skill and then the certificates and be able to categorize them and know exactly what we really want.
Okay.
I don't know what I understand. So.
But is there need to strike a balance, or you feel, well, if you want to go to school to get a certificate, go to school. If you want to go for skill, go for skills. Because some persons will argue that, okay, look at people look at Zuckerberg, for instance, a dropout, and look at the impact he's making today. Some people may want to think, well, like we're talking about skills now, some persons may want to feel, well, there is no need for school, and let me just acquire the skill and move on with my life. And some persons will tell you that school is a scam, that there's no need, that's because of the internet age and what some of these boys are doing. They want to preach that gospel that school is a scam. And now that we are talking about the issue of forgery, how do we balance the thin line between acquiring certificate and acquiring a skill?
Well, before this time, those who are pursuing this skill thing, at the basement we had trade test and the rest of them, they were acquiring them, and technicians were acquiring trade tests and the certificates and the rest of them. Then of course we had those that went to mainstream academic institutions and then acquired certificates. But all I'm saying is that if the guidelines and the ingredients of institutions, I mean, when you were talking about a university, there's expectation. There are guidelines for the establishment of such institutions. You want to establish a course in a university or a faculty, you need to meet certain guidelines. The idea of looking for your contacts to help you swear the decision of whoever is approving is ridiculous. And today we have a situation where even politicians, businessmen are now establishing universities. I'm not against it. I'm not saying they shouldn't establish if they have what it takes. But they should be patient enough, to allow the institution of states do what they ought to do by ensuring proper accreditation of courses, by ensuring that every guideline towards matriculation of students and the rest of them are done properly. Admission processes done properly. Now you see a situation where certain categories of students will fail their JAMB exams. and then they cannot get admission into some universities. And then you see a private university that will lower the JAMB score and lower it to such a ridiculous level. So you now see a mop-up of those who obviously cannot do much. Don't know anything. A mop-up. And they'll fill up the school.
Because those people are in business.
They're in business. So at the end of the day, you probably will start seeing first-class materials from first-class graduates and second-class graduates.
But who is checking? No supervision.
That's what I'm saying.
Checking the schools.
The institutions of states are very weak. Nothing happens to those who are powerful in the society.
Don't you think Nigerians will even be tempted at that point to say probably something has exchanged hands and can we attribute all of this to weakness or overlooking some of these situations?
You can conjecture anything, but what is important is that some of them find it easy to abridge processes, to get to whatever they want. You understand? Either because of political inclinations and whatever.
All right. We're looking at the federal government going after certificate forgers. This has been a problem in the society for a very long time, where you see people coming out of the university having certificates that they can't really defend. And the issue of institutions coming up to get accreditation when they are not even qualified. The weakness of the system of state meeting up with their demand. But as it is right now, the students, the institution of states, the schools, who do you think is supposed to take the blame now?
The institution of state, these private institutions, takes the blame. Let me tell you.
But I'm asking this because you're a legal practitioner.
Yes.
If you want to prosecute, for instance, maybe you want to charge this 3 category to court. The person that has a forged certificate, is it against the law? The person who gave the certificate, is it against the law? The person who is supposed to supervise, is it against the law? What is the level of the implication for this 3 category of these actors?
Let me tell you, anything that is not right is not right. You don't categorize and talk about level. If a university is unable to do, if the institution of state is unable to do what they ought to do to ensure that proper things are done in the universities, well, if it's still the same state institution that can prosecute them. And if the university connives with anybody to do what is not proper and begin to issue any health certificate, but the university will have to take responsibility for that, including the student that probably cut corners to do whatever.
The law can catch up with
yes, if it's proven, of course. So
all right.
It's not about whether you have to single out one person and leave the other. No.
So the 3 actors so far.
If there is a connection, of course.
There would be connection because somebody must have issued this certificate.
If there's a connection
and somebody must be the owner. And we know that we have regulatory bodies that are supposed to
and there is a clear-cut proven case of connection and connivance, of course.
All right. Thank you very much for joining us on the program this morning. Many thanks. We are glad to have you on the program this morning. All right, this is the size of the first conversation this morning. We've talked about certificate forgery. Then the actors is a legal practitioner, my guest, and he has said, well, if you get a forged certificate and you're caught, it is against the law. You who issued the certificate is against the law. You who is supposed to ensure that the certificate is not issued at all, the supervisory system, you are also at fault. But then federal government have come out to say, well, we are going after certificate forgers at the ministry level, the agencies, public service, private sector, everywhere, even in the military. Let's keep our fingers crossed and see how all of this will unfold in totality. All right, let's go on a quick break. After this break, Global Morning returns.
Global Morning is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and internationals.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Monday through Sunday to a wide range of latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
We're on the road to protest.
And the president meets all of our demands.
Nigeria at 65, a nation rich in culture, heritage, and resilience. From the banks of the River Niger to the hills of Jos, from the bustling streets of Lagos to the peaceful plains of Sokoto, Nigeria stands tall, united by hope, straightened by diversity. 65 years, the green and white flag rises high, a symbol of freedom, a promise of self-determination, a call to greatness.
Through trials and triumphs, challenges and changes, Nigeria remains unbroken. Her people, bold, brilliant, and brave, continue to rise, innovating, creating, and shaping the future. The journey has been perfect, but it has been powerful.
As we mark 65 years of independence, we remember the past, celebrate the present, and look forward to the future with hope. Together, we are stronger and united. Happy Independence, Nigeria! This message is brought to you by Global Television.
Global Morning is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and internationals.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Monday through Sunday to a wide range of latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
We're on the road to protest.
And the president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning.
All right, welcome back. I still remain your host, Priscilla Obasi, and this is Global Morning. And today we are turning our spotlight to Kogi Central, where the political atmosphere is heating up again. So after months of suspension and legal tussles, Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan has returned to the Red Chamber. And for her supporters, this feels like a victory for democracy and representation. For her critics, it is raising fresh questions about her role, her influences, and what this means for the future of Kogi politics. And beyond the drama, one question remains: what does Natasha Akpoti's return to mean for the people of Kogi Central? Will it translate into effective representations, or does it deepen existing political divides? Joining me to unpack this conversation is my guest, a political analyst from Kogi Central Senatorial District, and he is Solis Omolaye. You're welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you very much. Good morning, viewers. Good morning, listeners across the world. Nice having you there.
Yeah, so good to have you with us. Let me start with this question. What's your first reaction to Natasha Akpoti's return to the Senate after suspension?
Suspension or?
Yeah, after her return.
Okay, after her return, it was a good development for Kogi Central people, and as one of her constituents, I was happy that she's back to the office.
How about before the return, the suspension? How did it take you?
It was a very serious issue that personally I have my reservation concerning her approach towards the issue that declined into suspension. I was very happy with the way she approached the first incident about the sitting arrangements and how she goes about propaganda concerning sexual harassment, going to international bodies to make several reports against this nation, against our democracy. I was really not happy about our moves, but then this is politics and we'll have to cross our fingers when the players are playing.
Okay, so for the people of Kogi Central, what does this return signify? Is it relief for them? Is it hope? Or is it just more of politics?
Well, I will speak from two perspectives. One, I would speak as someone that has to be positive about what is happening, and I will also speak as a realist. Okay, we are happy that she has returned finally to her seat, representing the good people and the bad people of Kogi Central. But then we are looking at several opportunities that she left behind and how she'll be able to catch up with those opportunities. We all know that the function of the senator is representing the interests of their people. Representing the interests of their people. In this case, we are expecting a lot from her based on the fact that she has been very vocal against tyranny, she has been very vocal against bad governments, and we gave her opportunity even as opposition that she should represent the good people of Kogi Central. So we have a lot expectation from her. And when the incidents came on us, it was actually shocking and it was in a bad light. So right now, we are looking at the possibility of her achieving a lot of things she has promised us. And if you permit me, I will highlight the realistic view that I have towards her return.
Okay, please go ahead, highlight it.
All right, thank you so much. We need to look at the genesis of the incidents that result to her suspension. The genesis is about sitting arrangements. And the Senate has their rules. The Senate has the things they do and the things they don't do. Now, the power is vested on the Senate President for the sitting arrangements when it is necessary. And it occurs to us that what necessitates the sitting arrangement that affected her was necessary at that time. looking at the fact that there were senators that they come from the opposition to the ruling party, creating vacuum that needs to be filled up in the front and also behind. And it happens to be affected. So, if it happens this way, we as a constituent, we are not expecting a public outburst the way it happened. Again, the voice of the majority in the Senate were against her. And then you now look at what has been her relationship with the Senate. If you look deeply into what happened in the Senate chamber, your ability to do well depends on your ability to lobby. Your ability to achieve enormously to the benefit of the people is the connectivity and the relationship you have with others within the chamber. Having majority of voices against her, including her co-senators from Kogi State, the Kogi West and Kogi East, speaking negatively about her reactions even before the outburst, we are really pessimistic about what she will get when now that she has returned. We are also seeing difficulty in mending bridge because throughout her suspension, she went on destroying bridges. The Senate have a tendency where everybody is equal, but then their principal orders, the Senate President, the Chief Whip, and other minority and majority leaders, if you have destroyed the bridge with them, it will take time, which is not enough, in my view, to mend the bridge which she has destroyed, and she keeps destroying even from her first interview while in office. Again, we'll talk about winning trust against propaganda syndrome. After the sitting arrangement saga, the next thing we have propagandas around concerning sexual harassment that till now we have not seen any cases in court from her and even from the Senate President. We are seeing other propagandas that has been leveled against her, especially assassination propagandas and several other
you call it a propaganda. Well, I don't know why you call it a propaganda, but
yes, I call it propaganda because
has it been ruled out? Is it proven a propaganda? Because it is still an ongoing case, as far as I am concerned, about this matter.
Now, as far as you are concerned, an ongoing case, where is it ongoing? Is it in the media or in the courts?
There hasn't been any. No one has ruled anything out, right? No one has put a verdict on it.
This is a space of 6 months. The issue of suspension gone to appeal court level.
Yes.
To tell you how she is interested in coming back to a place she referred to as court.
Okay, she is there to represent her people. She is there to represent the people of Kogi North Central. And for her, she has said that even while she was on suspension, she still went about her duties, benefiting and, working for the people of Kogi North Central. Do you think in any way her absence in the Senate affected the district's development priorities?
Now, let's look at the duties of senator. One duty of a senator is lawmaking.
Yes.
How was she part of several bills that passed through the House in the 6 months of her absence? What was her input, even in the tax reform bill that has passed and has been accepted by the president? Can we say any part she played in all the bills that passed through the 6 months? No. All right.
The 6 months of her being absent, is that what you're talking about?
Yes. That is right.
That's what but all of this is not her fault, because she was not in the Senate at that point where all of these decisions were being made.
This is where Kogi Central, North Central is missing out when she was absent. So she cannot prove to us that we did not miss her absence in the Senate.
We would say they were missing. In the Senate, there is usually a majority that takes the vote, right? And when all of those bills were passed, it was not a question, or it was not a matter of, one person or a tie between, two persons. It was more of a majority passing the vote. I don't think a Kogi Central would have made a difference in, the passing of that bill.
We can make a difference. Let me put it to you how it happens in the Senate. There is the possibility of disagreeing to agree in the Senate.
Yeah.
By the power of you having a stronger argument.
Okay.
Now, if she was there and she listened to the people from across the divide in Nigeria,
okay,
she would have gotten something that might be different from what the other senators, the majority of senators, were looking at.
Okay.
And she might have the ability to convince them that for social part of this bill, let's look this way and see the advantage. And the possibility of her convincing good number of the senator can make a turnaround concerning any part of the bill.
That is true. I totally agree with that. On the other hand, what did the people of Kogi Central do to back her? Because it looked as if there was a divide. There were some that were for her and there were some that were against her. As it were, she was representing. I think the best that would have been done was people rallying behind her, making sure that she is reinstated to represent the people of Kogi Central. But was that the case?
No, that was not the case because of a valuable reason.
What?
As a senator, you are not representing yourself. As a senator, you are representing the people.
Okay.
In a good, sane community, a senator ought to come back to the community, hear from them, have an agreement that he or she takes back to the chamber.
Okay.
The case of sitting arrangement, which she posted out, was a self-interest case. The case of sexual harassment is a self-interest case.
Why would you say the case of sitting arrangement is a self-interest case? Natasha claims that she was not positioned well to speak, and her major role there is to speak for the people. So how is her voicing out, against the harassment on her sitting position, a self-interest case?
She was not sent out of the chamber.
She wanted to be placed in a better position to speak out for the people of Kogi North Central. Is that not something to count for?
She's aware of the sitting arrangement in the Senate. That the senators from the ruling party are arranged at the front, while those from the opposition are seated behind. She's not the only opposition. Those who decamp from opposition to the ruling party, their seats were changed from behind to the front.
Well, is that how it should be in a democratic system of Nigeria?
Yeah, it happens everywhere. Go to the US, see the Republicans and the Democrats. They don't mix up. Why? So that they will be able to align interests together easily.
It is.
And when there is a divide in the voice, you will be able to distinguish from the voices. And from her sitting arrangement, she was not in a bad place from what we saw when she returned back to give her petition against the Senate president. We saw where she was sitting. And okay, there was an issue, and a study committee on ethics and privileges, we had to look into what transpired, and you went to court against a committee. At that point, you did not deem it fit to come back to your people, explain to them what you are facing. You went to turn around the whole international things to make propagandas, and it was when the people now say, okay, if you have gone to UK, if you have gone to US, let's recall you back home for us to put you where you're supposed to be. That is when she now deemed it fit to come home.
Okay. Whatever happened, whatever transpired, we see now from things that she has been reinstated. Doesn't it say, or doesn't it in any way show that she might have, you know, for this, doesn't it mean, you know, victory for democracy? Because for her to be reinstated at this point, it means that, you know, a lot of things has been ruled out. Don't you think so?
I don't see democracy playing out here, and I mean victory or defeat for democracy playing out here. She has actually spent her 6 months. So it is normal for her to resume after 6 months. So the democracy that would have played for us in Kogi Central is if the reinstatement come before the 6 months.
Before the 6 months, you say. But after the 6 months, she had completed her 6 months, and even at then, she wasn't reinstated. It took a little over 6 months for her to be reinstated. And during this period, we saw her coming out, you know, voicing out and still complaining, trying to fight for her rights and all of that. And eventually, we see that you know, she has victory at last. And you're not agreeing to the fact that this was her fighting for her right in any way?
No, it was not her fighting for her rights. If I would have had the appeal judgment say reinstate her when the suspension was at 2 months or 3 months, I would have said, oh, there is a democracy that played out here. But right now, the democracy that played out is the democracy of the majority of the Senate suspending her for 6 months, and she has to spend 6 months outside the Senate.
Okay, going forward, what is the implication on Kogi's North Central?
We are looking forward for her to recognize the fact that she cannot do anything alone as far as Senate chamber is concerned, and she should let bygone on the issues that have transpired, especially concerning the sitting arrangements, concerning the suspension. She should let those be bygone. But I am of the opinion that if there is a case of sexual harassment, she has her right to pursue it to the latest.
Thank you very much for that.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. You are saying something. Please go ahead.
Yes. But with the case of sitting arrangement suspension, it is a bygone issue. She should quickly look for a way to come into the house and mend every bridge which I view to have been broken with others, and see a way where she can quickly bring up her views, bring up her contributions for the betterment of Kogi Central, for the betterment of North Central and Nigeria at large.
I think that's a good way to look at it. Now, you mentioned that Kogi Central has been away from the major activities. They have not been carried along. Does this also have an effect on the Kogi North Central in any way?
Of course, it has an effect. We are looking forward to her speaking for us concerning the Aya Steel, Ajakuta Steel Company. This has been a fight which she claims to have been fighting even before she comes into Senate. And until now, we have not heard her voice concerning the issue. Of recent, we are hearing Dangote telling Nigerians that nothing can work over there. We want to hear from her what is her point and her input in making that place to work. The liquid gas companies that you ought to have around Kogi State, 5 of them, which she already has input before she left the Senate. We want her to come in and see how she can persuade things to quickly work for Nigeria, North Central in particular.
Do you think Natasha Apoti enjoys the same level of support she had before the suspension?
Well, from what I view regarding social media comments and others, people were really in support of her at the beginning, with the view that she has cogent evidence against the Senate President concerning sexual harassment, as we put it to the world. But after 6 months, I think most people eyes are open and they've seen that it is just a media propaganda.
Eyes are open. That is a funny one there. Well, I'll leave it at that because I don't know who eyes are open to what exactly. I think it is just the fact.
Over 6 months, we have no cogent evidence or a court injunction or a court case regarding the issue. So it's left as media propaganda.
Okay, there was a process to recall her even while she was on suspension. That did not work out. Don't you think the support of her people are backing her that made that happen?
No, we know the issue that surrounds recall. A recall is more rigorous than an election. If you see the number of votes against her for her recall, it's multiplied by 2 of what comes as the total votes in her election, which means the majority of people were against her. But for the fact that the people need to come out having a good percentage of total PVC connected, not total number of voters in the election that brought her in. I think it's really in her favor for that record. If it would have been the total number of people that voted her in that is needed for her record, she would have long been out of the Senate.
Beyond politics, what immediate gains or losses could ordinary citizens expect from her reinstatement?
Right now, I think I will have to count gains for our people. She has returned, and we thank God she returned healthy and hard with her vocals still intact. I mean, her ability to speak her mind.
And this is supposed to be a win for the people of Kogi North Central.
Yes.
Okay.
It means she can stand for the Nigerians whenever she actually wants to stand for the Nigerians. She has not cowed from what happened in the Senate, means that she's a strong opposition voice in the Senate.
Beautiful.
And for the people, it is a good game.
Okay. Do you see Natasha playing a more assertive role in the Senate, given her long break? Or do you see, what do we expect? What do you see her role as? Or what outcome are you expecting from Natasha Apoti?
Well, I said something halfway before. I said there will be a big challenge of winning trust over propaganda syndrome over her. She will have a long way to build bridge, and she will have a long way to win the trust of colleagues and win the trust of leadership. Of course, she can be given a good role to represent the people, especially oversight functions and several other responsibilities that we expect from her from onset.
What lessons should young politicians in Kogi Central take from Natasha's journey so far?
Well, I would say that charisma takes you up, character keeps you there. In every way, we need to build charisma and build character alongside. Because in leadership, you will have to be charismatic to take up a position. You will have to build a strong leadership acumen to be able to achieve more while in the position.
Some people believe Natasha's struggles symbolizes the challenges women face in Nigerian politics. Do you agree?
I do not agree that her struggle symbolizes that. I know for the fact that in our politics, we have several setbacks concerning gender equality. Okay. And I think we are really working towards how to build that properly. But her struggle does not symbolize such. In my own view, I think I would say she tried to weaponize such effect, such view about women in politics. She tried to weaponize that against the Senate.
Well, that is subjective, and of course your opinion. Finally, before we go, if you were to summarize the whole situation, what is the biggest implication of Natasha Apoti's return for the people of Kogi Central?
Is a thing of joy that our spiritual dad perceives. It is able to learn lessons from what has transpired, and we should know that as spiritual does not for his or her own personal interest, for the interest of the people. And we should know that in every institution there are rules that stabilize the institution, and at every point Nigerians should know that we need to have respect for rules and authorities.
Thank you very much, Solace Omolaye. Thank you so much for being on the show with us this morning. It has been an insightful conversation with you, and one take home from what you have said is charisma takes you up, character keeps you there. This is a lesson for Nigerians, of course. And Natasha's story will have everyone taking their own sides. Yeah, you get regardless of all of that, it's important to keep working together to build Nigeria. And for the people of Kogi Central, I think it's time to put hands together and make Kogi Central work. Give her the backing she needs at this point for the state or for that zone to get the best of Nigeria, right? To get the best of the support from the Senate, actually. So thank you so much for staying with us till this time. This is how far we can go on the discussion today. For Natasha Apoti's return may be about one senator, but the biggest story is about democracy, accountability, and the power of representation in Nigeria. So it is important for us to learn from this. Global Morning continues just with the wrap-up feed shortly. Please stay with us.
Nigeria at 65, a nation rich in culture, heritage, and resilience. From the banks of the River Niger to the hills of Jos, from the bustling streets of Lagos to the peaceful plains of Sokoto, Nigeria stands tall, united by hope, straightened by diversity. 65 years, the green and white flag rises high, a symbol of freedom, a promise of self-determination, a call to greatness.
Through trials and triumphs, challenges and changes, Nigeria remains unbroken. Her people, bold, brilliant, and brave, continue to rise, innovating, creating, and shaping the future. The journey has been perfect, but it has been powerful.
As we mark 65 years of independence, we remember the past, celebrate the present, and look forward to the future with hope. Together, we are stronger and united. Happy Independence, Nigeria! This message is brought to you by Global Television.
Of course, from certificate forgery down to Kogi Central Senatorial District, all of these are issues that you can't unfold just in one show. Many thanks for joining us on Global Morning today. All the editorial headlines are properties of the various publishing offices, companies. Global Television does not contribute to the editorial headlines of those papers, and the view of our guests are their views and not that of Global Television. My name is Ramsey Enoch Abu.
And my name is Priscilla Obasti. Thank you so much, and this is wishing you a beautiful day ahead. Of course, Global Television has lots of programs lined up for you for the rest of the day. So stay tuned and enjoy the show. For now, it's bye for now.